Well, that's exactly what Brandon Harding's doing. He's telling you what he's taking, but he's telling you also what he has to take because of what he's taking. And it's not good. Coach Greg and Brandon Harding has come clean with his new off-season cycle. It's 5 months long. We're going to go over his health complications, the dangers of what he's doing to his body, and caution you, do not copy what Brandon is doing. You're going to find out his full cycle, see exactly what he's taking, and the health complications that go with it.
This is how we start the video. Do you ever wake up in the morning when you look at yourself in the mirror and you start doing some poses and then you start getting really out of breath? As soon as you get up in the morning, you're like, and you realize it's the off season.
He says, you know it's the off season when you're out of breath just doing morning poses. For me, the exact opposite. When I'm deep into the diet and have no energy, that's when posing becomes difficult. If posing is difficult in the off season, it's not good. And I have to point out just how transparent Brandon is. He did not need to list all these medications that he's on. And when Noel Diesel said the fitness industry has to be careful sharing what they're doing and not glorifying PDs, well, that's exactly what Brandon Harding's doing. He's telling you what he's taking, but he's telling you also what he has to take because of what he's taking. And it's not good. Wait till you find out the health complications that he is putting himself under.
We're drinking the pre-workout of today, which is going to be a bottle of water because I'm actually going to take a day off pre-workout, probably a few days to be honest. I definitely feel like I've been slamming pre-workout a little bit too much.
And Brandon makes a great point. Don't take pre-workout all the time. You don't need to take it 7 days a week. He was overdoing the stims and your body gets used to that and it can be a problem. Don't abuse pre-workouts. And what is he replacing his pre-workout with? Water. Water is the most important thing you need for your pre-workout. You're going to sweat, lose water, get dehydrated. If you don't have water in your system, what kind of pump are you going to get? Think of it. Dry scooping pre-workouts when water is probably the most important thing to have before, during, and after a workout.
But considering we are pretty deep into the beginning of this off-season right now, it's going to be a total 5-month journey, a very slow growing process.
Okay, so his plan is to do a 5-month cycle where he gradually increases the doses so that he slowly builds muscle throughout the entirety of the 5-month cycle. Plan is get a lot more muscle, come back with an entirely new package, and win that IFBB Pro card.
Please keep in mind that this stack is very minimal to start with. We are going to slowly increase this over time because the journey is so long.
And keep in mind, Brandon is over 30 pounds under the weight limit for classic physique. And you're wondering what people would have to take to get jacked enough to be open class competitors. This is what Brandon takes. Classic physique. And a reminder as well, he's only about 24 years of age, early 20s, and he's already suffering from, well, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Test E. This is testosterone enanthate. I'm having 250 milligrams per week, so that is split up into 3 injections, Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday.
The first thing he's doing is essentially the base of any cycle, and that's testosterone. He's choosing the enanthate ester. That's a longer ester so that you don't have to inject every single day. Testosterone enanthate is released a lot slower than Test-Prop, and so you don't have to inject it every single day. Who wants to inject every single day? So Brandon is going to be doing this 3 times a week. For example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Personally, I do think it's better if he did the shots every other day, as in 3.5 times a week, because 3 times a week means you're skipping 2 days in a row. That will lead to slightly more variation in his blood levels, but it's not going to be that much. It's not going to make a huge difference, but if you do want to make it more stable, please inject every other day. And I should point out, I'm not a doctor. I'm not suggesting you copy this. Don't copy any of this. Don't listen to me or Brandon. Just watch for entertainment. Never break the law and only use anything with the advice of your own doctor. And so 250 milligrams of test a week, it's relatively low. And the reason for that is he probably doesn't want to gain a lot of water. The more testosterone you use, the more water retention you're going to have. You're going to look more bloated, and you could in fact develop gynecomastia. Testosterone does convert to estrogen, and many people don't want to deal with those negative side effects. If he were to increase the dose of testosterone, he may have unwanted side effects and have to use an aromatase inhibitor or a SERM. For example, Arimidex, Aromacin, Nova, or Femra. But at a lower dose, only 250 milligrams, he probably doesn't need anything to combat the negative side effects from the estrogen whatsoever. And in comparison, my HRT dose, 140 milligrams, I don't need anything. But when I was taking higher doses, 500, 700 milligrams of test a week, I always needed to use Arimidex and sometimes add Nova on top of this. And in case you're wondering, this will shut down his own natural production of testosterone. The body is getting testosterone from an exogenous source from the injection, and so it doesn't need to make testosterone on its own. So if he did stop this cycle, even with only 250 milligrams a week, it would take a long time for his body to start making test again. He would lose a lot of his gains, and so he would need to take a PCT to help minimize the muscle that he's going to lose.
Primo E, which again is Primobolan enanthate, again a slow ester, and that is at 500 milligrams per week. That is the highest amount of Primo I have ever taken.
Next on the list, Primo enanthate, the same ester as the testosterone, a slow release. You don't have to inject this every day, and he's doing so at 500 milligrams, split into 3 doses, probably 166 milligrams per shot. And why Primo? Well, Primo is shown to be one of the safest anabolic steroids you can use. It's only half as suppressive as testosterone, but that's not why he's using this. It doesn't convert to estrogen. So at 500 milligrams a week, he's not going to get bloated, he's not going to get water retention, he's not going to develop gyno. The result is a hard, muscular, and athletic physique. However, it's not as potent or strong as testosterone. It will not build as much muscle as if he was doing 500 milligrams of testosterone. And how strong is it, you ask? Well, it's about 2/3 as strong as the test. So in other words, he would probably gain the same amount of muscle doing 500 milligrams of Primo as 330 milligrams of testosterone. And this is not his first cycle. So he can't rely on lower doses at this point. If he only did 250 milligrams, that would almost be an HRT dose for this guy. Be slightly high, but you can only build muscle on low doses for so long. Eventually, you get to a steady state where the body can't keep building. So as much muscle as you build on your first cycle, to keep building more muscle, you in fact need to do higher doses. Everyone knows we have a natural genetic limit of which we can't surpass naturally. But if you take PEDs, enhancements, you can go past that. But at a certain dose, you can only go so high above that. Maybe it's 10 pounds of muscle, maybe 15. But if you up that dose, increase test to even higher numbers, you can gain even more muscle. Brandon has been doing cycles for a few years, so he needs to do higher doses now than he did at his start to keep building muscle. And he can still put on 30 pounds of muscle. And he's still an amateur. So imagine how much he's going to have to take at the end of 5 months in order to continue to build muscle. And even if he gets his pro card, imagine the doses he'll have to take at that time to build even more muscle. As you know, they allow 10 extra pounds of muscle for pros as compared to amateurs. It may not seem like much, but when you've been taking steroids for years, adding in 10 more pounds of muscle, it's next to impossible for most people. So what do I think so far? Personally, I like this cycle. It's something that I would do if I was to compete. I would be doing a low dose of testosterone because I don't want to look watery. I want to look lean. And the Primo, a great choice for someone trying to build muscle without the added bloat and water retention. Also, with less water retention comes less chances of developing high blood pressure. No one wants high blood pressure. Not good for your heart, increased chance of heart attack, strokes, and so on. Have you seen all the deaths lately? So obviously, everyone should be trying to control their blood pressure. And notice, no orals. He doesn't have D-ball, T-ball, Anavar, Halotestin, Anadrol, none of it. Just basic injections. It's a 5-month cycle. He's not going to want to put extra strain on his liver and kidneys for 5 whole months. You need to start small and titrate up accordingly. And how long do I think he'll be able to keep these doses? Well, in my experience in watching others, the first 8 weeks, usually amazing. People make gains very easily, but after that, they come very, very slow. People get discouraged, they want to keep seeing the scale go up, and so what happens? They up the dose because you're always trying to make gains. The body can't make gains forever. If you gain 1 pound of muscle a week, 52 pounds a year. Who's putting on 52 pounds of muscle in a year?
Long exposure to testosterone can result in someone's higher cholesterol. This is something we're trying to fix with my current meal plan.
And Brandon's talking about how to control his cholesterol while using testosterone. Well, the problem is anyone using testosterone or anabolic steroids in general, you are going to see your cholesterol negatively impacted. The HDL, the good cholesterol that you want, goes down. The LDL, the bad cholesterol that you don't want, goes up. That ratio between good and bad cholesterol keeps getting out of whack. The higher the doses, the worse it gets. He says he's trying to clean it up with his diet. Diet is one thing, that is true. Eating healthy fats, getting in enough fiber, eating a healthy, well-balanced diet, that can help a little bit. But so can cardiovascular exercise, making sure you get in your cardio. And what else can help? Not bulking. Getting fat, gaining a lot of weight, becoming obese, gonna hurt a lot.
We're just trying to keep it low. We obviously can't cut it out, but we're just trying to do things the safest way possible, essentially. Not that really any of this is safe anyway.
And Brandon knows this. I'm not telling him things he's not saying. He's saying this in his own video. This is not healthy. He's telling you it's not healthy. It's his own choice to make. He's not telling anyone to copy this or to do this. He's just outlining with full transparency exactly what he's doing so that you know the dangers and risks that he's taking.
Next, I'm currently on 3 IU of growth hormone split up into the morning and the nighttime. So 1.5 IU in the morning, 1.5 at night.
Frankly, there's nothing wrong with that for somebody who's older, who needs that, who really can't gain any muscle with any other avenue. But Brandon is 24 years old and an amateur. Why on earth does he need growth hormone in his off season at 24 years of age? There is no way that Brandon is so far above his genetic limit that he needs growth hormone to build muscle. I don't think he should be taking growth hormone. He's too young. Why should he subject his body to growth hormone already? And it's not just the price of it, it's the health ramifications. I personally don't think it's healthy to use growth hormone even in lower levels unless you need it. I'm 46 years of age and I'm not on growth hormone. And I can afford it. You've seen how many freaking cookbooks I've sold. Trust me, if I wanted to take growth hormone, I could take growth hormone and I would be telling you. There's no reason for me to say, I'm not on growth hormone. I'll try to brag, I'm not even on growth hormone. I've seen the videos, Coach Greg lies on growth hormone. I haven't taken growth hormone for years. I don't believe growth hormone to be healthy. It's been proven to have negative side effects. Unless you're deficient in it and need it and a doctor prescribes it, it's not something I would advise anyone, especially if they're young, to try.
And then based on the blood results we got back most recently, my thyroid was underperforming. So we're essentially supplementing 100 micrograms of T4.
And so Brandon was using T4 and T3 to boost his metabolism during prep. And the contest stopped and he got his thyroid checked out. Not good. Thyroid shut down, has to continue to take T4. Who knows, potentially for the rest of his life. And so should you take T3, T4 when dieting? Well, it depends. How bad do you need it? How bad do you need to be shredded? Would Brandon have placed any higher or any worse without it? No, didn't need it. Can you in fact burn that fat without it? Yeah, you can. Is there anything else you could take? Yes. And at the end of the day, is it still not calories in, calories out? Of course it is. Does T3, T4 help you burn fat? Yes, it boosts your metabolism. What else could you do? You could do more cardio. You could put the fork down and eat fewer calories. So yeah, there are medications that can help you burn fat, but you can do it without it.
I've seen it personally in bikini girls. They'll compete and they'll take T4, T3, claim they'll destroy their thyroid. And then after a show, they struggle so much to get back to the physique they was.
It's half true, half not true. Even if your thyroid is destroyed, even if you have wrecked your metabolism, it's still calories in, calories out. And what do I mean by that? I mean that even if your metabolism is drastically reduced because your thyroid is underactive and not burning off as many calories as you once did, if you eat less, you won't get fat. You can only get fat by eating any calorie surplus. Of course, having a faster metabolism is great. Having a thyroid that's functioning perfectly is great. And if it's not, it's going to make it harder. But if you eat less calories and do more cardio, you can in fact still maintain a lean physique. I'm not saying you should abuse these medications to burn fat, but I am saying if you blame your underactive thyroid on why you're overweight, you don't understand that it's calories in, calories out. If you have a shitty metabolism, no matter how bad it is, you can in fact still lose weight if you learn to find a diet that allows you to eat in a deficit. It really is that simple. Obviously, it's not hard to diet when you're starving, hungry all the time. That's why I developed my freaking cookbook, which sold tens of thousands of copies. You think it doesn't work? Tens of thousands of people bought the cookbook, lost weight, changed their lives. Don't believe me? See the testimonials, see if it actually works. Highly suggest the cookbook. If you have a wrecked, broken, screwed up metabolism, get the cookbook, eat the meals from it, and you will see it's not as hard as you think to lose some weight. Not telling you you're going to get shredded from it. Remember what I say this? Halfway there, halfway to the dream physique. It can help you to get halfway, and isn't halfway better than nothing.
And then finally, we have introduced telmisartan and metformin. If you want to know what these are, you can Google them.
He didn't have to tell you about the medications that he's on. He could have just left it there. But he has full disclosure. He's telling you what he's taking. So let me explain to you what this is. Telmisartan, I've had competitors who took this in the past. It's blood pressure medication. And why would you take that? Because you have high blood pressure. High blood pressure, we spoke about this earlier, it's not good. It's dangerous, can lead to heart attacks. And what does this medication do? Well, it allows the blood vessels to relax so it can open up more easily. When the blood flows through it, it can stretch out more and not have as high of a blood pressure. So remember, this is a doctor-prescribed medication that Brandon is taking because his doctor would feel that it's more important to control his blood pressure than to not take it. When you're prescribed medication, it's because the doctor thinks it's of more benefit than of harm. But let me ask you this. If you're taking something, steroids, which is causing high blood pressure, do you think it's a good idea to just take something else to mask the negative side effects of what you're taking? Or would it be smarter to stop taking the thing that's causing the problem in the first place? Perhaps if Brandon wasn't on this cycle, he wouldn't need this. And have you seen what happens to bodybuilders as they age? What have we seen lately? Could Brandon later regret this in his 40s when he's 46 years of age like Coach Greg? He's young, 24, you feel invincible when you're young. What if he does this for 20 years? What strain, what damage could that do to his heart and cardiovascular system? He's already on blood pressure medication. He's 24 years of age. So is it worth it?
And the metformin is at 500 mgs on a nighttime just before bed.
Metformin is used to treat type 2 diabetes for people that can't control their blood sugar. And he's taking 500 milligrams a day. That is in fact a high dose. 250 milligrams would seem more reasonable. 500 milligrams a day, metformin, age 24. This is something that people use to prevent type 2 diabetes. Perhaps he's pre-diabetic. I don't know. But what I do know is if you're eating a lot of sugar, bulking, eating too much food, or if you become overweight, there's more likely a chance you're going to develop type 2 diabetes. Could Brandon be on his way to being a type 2 diabetic? And so the next time you watch my videos, please listen to the message and think, what am I really trying to tell people? Dig deep and look at the real message. What message am I trying to share? Does abusing PEDs make sense? Does bulking up, trying to put on tons of muscle through any means, does that make sense? Is it healthy? Does maintaining make sense? We're eating moderate amounts of foods where you feel healthy all the time. You can get up and pose in the morning, even in the off season. Which makes more sense?
I do, of course, want to preface the fact that this is my personal stack given to me by my coach. This is what I'm taking to progress on my off season. Please do not copy this.
So he's saying this is his personal stack given to him by his personal coach. I'm not sure if it's his coach as a doctor or if he consulted a doctor or what exactly is going on, but I do know, don't copy this. Brandon does not want you to copy this. He was kind enough to share the world what he's taking exactly, including the medications, so that you know. It's not all sunshines and rainbows. It's not just big biceps and abs. It comes at a price. And is this price Brandon's health? Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette IB Pro. As usual, the bloops, harder than last time supplements, including the testosterone. Also, the cookbooks help you lose weight, maintain balanced, healthy diet for the rest of your life. Subscribe, click the bell button, and until next time, I'm out.